There is a particular hour in Freehold when the afternoon light reaches the brick face of the Monmouth County Historical Association. The courthouse square settles, the old streets hold their heat, and behind a quiet door on Court Street, a county begins to speak, not in one voice, but in layers: a soldier's coat, a household account, a child's school exercise, a ship captain's ledger, a photograph with a name written carefully on the back. History here is not a distant country. It is the room we are standing in, the road we drive, the house our family passes every Sunday. Today, we are visiting the Monmouth County Historical Association, an institution established in 1898, now carrying a collection, a network of historic houses, and a set of questions into the county's next century. This is Heart of the Shore. For families who have made a life in Monmouth County, legacy can sound like a very large word. We hear it at a foundation meeting, in an estate planning office, or while looking across a lawn that has belonged to the family for decades. But a legacy is also smaller and more daily. It is the story a grandparent tells at the kitchen table. It is the decision to keep a school photograph, a recipe, a letter, or a map. The Monmouth County Historical Association gives those questions a public home. Its work is not simply to preserve beautiful objects, though the collection is remarkable. Its work is to make the county legible to itself, to show how farms, ports, churches, neighborhoods, businesses, schools, and shore communities became part of one connected place. That connection matters because Monmouth is often described by its separate charms. We have the river towns and the ocean towns, the horse country and the old industrial corridors, the summer streets and the year-round neighborhoods. Yet the archive reminds us that these are not isolated worlds. A road, a marriage, a market, a war, or a new railroad has always carried one community into another. MCHA's main museum is at 70 Court Street in Freehold, the county seat. From there, its work extends into historic house museums, a library and archives, exhibitions, educational resources, lectures, and programs that invite people to look again at familiar places. The institution's current public face is both grounded and ambitious, a place to encounter objects in person and a place to use history as a tool for thoughtful citizenship. The association's current executive director is Shannon Eden. Its board president is Charles H.D. Those names matter not as a roll call, but as a reminder that stewardship is organized work. A museum is sustained by people who set priorities, care for collections, welcome visitors, teach, raise funds, maintain buildings, and make room for the next generation of curiosity. MCHA was established in 1898 at a moment when American communities were beginning to understand that modernization could erase as much as it created. Monmouth County was changing rapidly. Farms and villages were sharing space with new transportation, new industries, new resorts, and new patterns of migration. The people who formed a historical association understood that memory needed an institution if it was going to survive beyond personal recollection. The association's story is therefore not only the story of the objects it holds. It is the story of a civic decision that local history deserves professional care, public interpretation, and a place where evidence can be tested.
Over time, MCHA grew into a museum, research library, archives, and a network of historic houses across the county. Those houses offer different windows. Covenhoven House in Freehold dates to 1752. It carries the architecture and domestic life of the colonial period, along with the extraordinary fact that it was used as a headquarters by British General Sir Henry Clinton and his officers in the days before the Battle of Monmouth. Marlpit Hall in Middletown, dating to around 1762, opens another set of conversations, including the documented lives of enslaved people who lived there. That history is not a footnote. It is part of the house, part of New Jersey, and part of the obligation to interpret the past with honesty and care. The Allen House at the historic Four Corners in Shrewsbury dates to around 1710. The Taylor-Butler House in Middletown dates to around 1853, and the Holmes-Hendrickson House in Homedale, a property of the Monmouth County Park System, is furnished and interpreted by the association. Each site offers a different scale of attention: the shape of a room, the technology of a kitchen, the social meaning of a front door, the work that made a household possible. The main museum building itself dates to 1931. It is a brick Georgian-style structure designed by architect J. Hallam Conover, built in Freehold during the Great Depression. That detail is worth pausing over. A county chose to build a home for its memory during a period of national hardship. The message was not that history was a luxury. The message was that continuity, properly understood, is one of the things a community builds for. Today, the association's collection allows those individual stories to sit beside one another. We can move from a family paper to a public record, from a painted portrait to a working tool, from the history of a prominent household to the lives of people whose names survive only because someone preserved a trace. The strongest local history does not flatten a place into nostalgia. It gives us enough detail to see both what we inherited and what we must continue to learn. In 2026, the association is making the county's revolutionary history especially visible. Its exhibition, Storm of Revolution, Monmouth at War, is now open at the main museum. Using objects and archival records from MCHA's collection, the exhibition explores the drama and consequences of the American Revolution in Monmouth County. The museum also presents Home of Washington, Rallying the Troops at Monmouth, a painting that many viewers will recognize from Ken Burns' The American Revolution. There is a satisfying local scale to that experience. National history arrives not as a distant panorama, but as a landscape we can drive through. A battlefield is not just a date. A house is not only a backdrop. The choices of soldiers, farmers, merchants, craftspeople, families, and enslaved people shaped what happened here, and the association gives visitors a way to study those choices with evidence in front of them. The museum at 70 Court Street is currently open Wednesday through Friday from 1 to 4, and on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturdays of the month from 1 to 4. Covenhoven House is open Fridays and on the 2nd and 4th Saturdays, also from 1 to 4. Marlpit Hall and Taylor-Butler House are open Friday through Sunday from 1 to 4. The Allen House is closed for renovations and is expected to reopen in 2027. Before visiting, check the association's website for the latest schedule.
This is also a year for digital and family learning. The 250 for the 250th project, created with historian Michael Adelberg, is designed as a free, extensive collection of articles about Monmouth and the American Revolution. And the association has found an inviting way to turn history into a county-wide family outing. The Monmouth County 250th Historical Scavenger Hunt invited participants to visit historic sites, scan a code, answer questions, and submit their discoveries. Even when a particular seasonal program has ended, its design is instructive. A family does not have to be an expert to begin. You can start with a place you pass every day. There are many ways to participate in this institution. A visitor may come for an exhibit. A teacher may use a primary source in a classroom. A researcher may schedule time in the library. A member may attend a lecture, bring a guest, or support a restoration project. A donor may underwrite conservation, education, or the care of a historic house. Each role contributes to the same larger promise, that the past will remain available for careful, generous use. Membership is an accessible beginning. It makes a household part of the association's public life and helps support exhibitions, programs, and collections care. A family can also plan a visit around one house rather than trying to see everything at once. Take the children to Covenhoven and ask them to notice how a room is arranged. Visit Marlpit Hall and talk about what the archive can reveal and what it cannot. Look at the main museum's objects as evidence rather than decoration. For those with more capacity, donor support can be directed toward a defined purpose. Historic buildings require skilled maintenance. Collections require climate control, cataloging, conservation, and secure storage. Education requires staff time, transportation access, materials, and partnerships with schools. A gift to a restoration project can preserve a physical landmark. A gift to education can widen who gets to encounter it. A gift to the general fund gives an institution the flexibility to meet the next need responsibly. Families can also support the association through planned giving. A bequest, a beneficiary designation, or another legacy arrangement can make the Historical Association part of a long-term family philanthropy plan. That conversation belongs with your own attorney and financial advisors. But the personal meaning is clear. A future gift can say that the places and stories of Monmouth County should remain available to people who have not yet been born. There are non-financial forms of stewardship too. Volunteers can help welcome visitors, support programs, share specialized knowledge, or assist with the practical work of a community institution. Researchers can contribute family papers and photographs when appropriate, with guidance from the archives staff. Families can record names, dates, places, and the stories attached to their own objects before memory becomes uncertain. The association's contact page lists Shannon Eden as executive director and gives the main number 732-462-1466, extension 10. The library and archives can be reached through extension 16, and research visits are by appointment. Those simple details are part of the invitation. Stewardship is not reserved for people who already know the vocabulary. It begins with a call, a visit, a question, or a willingness to learn. When we support an institution like MCHA, we are not freezing the county in place.
We are giving the county a stronger conversation with itself. We are making it possible for a future homeowner, student, researcher, neighbor, or visitor to understand that the shore is more than scenery and that a community is more than its current season. So if you are looking for a thoughtful family outing this month, begin at 70 Court Street in Freehold. Give yourselves an hour. Let one object catch your attention. Then follow the question it raises. The road from a museum gallery to a historic house, from a family paper to a public story, is one of the quiet pleasures of living here. The Monmouth County Historical Association shows us that legacy is not an ornament we place on the past. It is a practice. We preserve. We interpret. We correct the record when necessary. We make room for more voices. And then we pass the work forward, in better condition than we found it. Love of Humanity is a Monmouth 501c3 publishing free family education. Donate linked on the homepage. One-click Stripe at buy.stripe.com/BJE00JAV HCLX430NNCAOO. If you sit on a board, direct a foundation, or trustee a family office in Monmouth, we build co-branded family education with local institutions. Reach the executive director at partnerships@donatetoLoveOfHumanity.com. For visiting information, exhibits, historic house schedules, and research appointments, go to monmouthhistory.org. For more episodes and free family education, visit lovehumanity.charity. This episode is produced for Love of Humanity, with care for the people and places that make Monmouth County home. I'm glad you joined us. Until next time, keep your eyes open for the story in the house, the harbor, and the road between them. See you on the boards.